Hey, what's up everybody? Chad Calek here, and welcome back to the In a Crowded Room podcast, where on this episode, I'm going to answer a ton of your questions because there's a lot that have been adding up, and I haven't done a Q&A in a long time. But before we do that, I just want to thank you all for the love and the support and the incredible comments, and for watching the nearly 20-minute long preview to A House in the Harbinger Kingdom. I'm so thankful to finally get that out. And I went back and forth a ton of times as to whether or not I was going to, first release like a 30-second trailer, and then like a 3-minute, and then like a 5-minute extended trailer. And I was like, you know what? It's been almost like 2 years since I had anything new out because of the hospitalization, the injury, and all that. And I just really wanted to set the stage for what a portion of A House in the Harbinger Kingdom is about. Now, keep in mind, like with all of my trailers, there's only so much that I want to give away in a trailer. My biggest pet peeve in the world is when you see a trailer and it looks great, and then you go see the movie, and you're like, wow, I kind of saw everything I wanted to see in the trailer, So I didn't want to do that. And like all of my trailers, if you think it's going to be one thing, you're going to find out it's going to be something quite different. What I can say is that this is a very large, sweeping story, meaning it's large in the scale. A lot of lives are involved in this. You guys only saw 4 or 5 people in this segment, but the cast for this is huge. And you guys will see that because the next thing I'm going to release is actually like the trailers, the actual, theatrical trailer and things like that. But that's going to be in a while because I really want to let people have the time to continue to watch the preview. This one is really special for a lot of reasons, and I certainly went through a battle to make this docuseries. So for your comments, your time, for sharing it, I'm really honored that you guys took the time and that you're voicing your excitement on this level. And on a secondary level, just as a filmmaker, it's really exciting to be doing something that I really feel kind of pushes the bar on my abilities as a filmmaker, as an editor, as a composer of music, as a vocalist, as a songwriter. To see a response to the music meant a lot to me too. So thank you. There were a ton of questions about the 20-minute preview, and I will do a full episode on all of those questions coming up. So rest assured that's going to happen. Also, don't forget everybody, February 7th through the 9th, AGH presents Skywatch 2025 out here in Santa Monica. And in the next episode, as promised, I will show you guys the footage of the bizarre stuff that I've filmed out here. Literally weekly, there is something really bizarre going on. Something is happening. I don't know what, but I will show you the footage in the next episode of the In a Crowded Room podcast. So if you would like to join us for this special event, you can get your tickets now by clicking the link in the description box below. There are only 30 total tickets for this event, so get yours while they last. And last but not least, you guys have been asking me to announce another ghost hunting event, and there is a very, very special one that is going to be announced tomorrow, an event that will include many members of the cast of A House in the Harbinger Kingdom, and it will also be my birthday celebration event. So where's it going to be? What are the dates? How can you get tickets? This will all be announced tomorrow. Now, let's get into these questions because, like I said, there's a lot of really good ones. Felix Milo from Honolulu, Hawaii, which Felix, first off, I love your name. Secondly, I do believe you are the first question that I have ever received from Hawaii. So that's awesome. Felix says, I loved your last evidence breakdown of the Bob Gimlin footage. I too loved that footage, Felix. Really creepy stuff. Felix says, I was wondering if you have any more examples of footage you believe to be real, and what is your process of determining authenticity? Well, actually, as it turns out, I just watched the new Nuke's Top 5 video, which 2 of you sent me. And there is some footage in the latest episode of Nuke's Top 5 that blew me away, that I think is absolutely incredible. And I'll show it here to you. I'll set the stage here. Basically, there are many people who have channels that just do this camping videos, right? Just trekking across and camping with their buddies, and they kind of go over all the stuff they bring and all that. And there are things known as bothies, which are basically free camping buildings, right? And they're out in the middle of nowhere, like in England and throughout Scandinavia and stuff like that. This footage, I believe, is in either England or Ireland, perhaps, but it's definitely over there in that area. These guys in this footage, there's 2 gentlemen. They are not ghost hunters. They are not paranormal guys. Their channels do nothing with the paranormal. They actually set up their footage in this bothy, and they're explaining, when I show you the footage here, you'll see that this one gentleman is just explaining that there was a person who stayed there the night before, and they kept the place really clean, and they're thanking them. And as this is going on, this happens. Check this out.
So we're in the bothy. There's nobody else here.
The 2 men travel to the White Lagoon bothy together, and they experience something that is truly terrifying.
Found the bothy book. You put my glasses on now, it is. Mine is a bat. So this is quite a popular bothy by the looks of it. Someone actually stayed last night. It was nice and tidy when we came in. So plaudits to whoever stayed here last night. Well done. Absolutely spotless. Whoa. Hold on a minute. Whoa. I'm out. I'm out of here. No.
It's getting late when a door suddenly slams shut all on its own.
That was totally weird. The door just started to move on its own, and then it just pretty much slammed shut. I mean, Marty's out there.
I don't really want to come back in.
He's in bits. That was just the weirdest thing, wasn't it?
It could be just air or wind displacement. As you're going to see in a second when I show you the next portion of the clip. They even mentioned that there's a storm going on outside. But I would like to point out what's really strange about this is as he approaches the door, if you watch this again, the door kind of speeds up. And almost like as he's getting closer, the door wants to beat him shut, so to speak. And what you'll also see when I start playing the next clip afterwards is that they, check it. They open the door, and you could see that it's not an easily movable door, and that there's nothing that would ultimately explain the door speeding up to be closed. But this is not the thing about this video that blew me away. Check out what happens next.
Now the 2 friends are both skeptics, but they are still a little unnerved by what just happened.
But that was terrifying, and I don't even swear. I'm swearing because I don't. But that was genuinely terrifying. I shot myself when it slammed. I just wanted out of here. There's something really, because I say it doesn't feel creepy. It doesn't feel like you're in the presence or anything. As I say, we don't really believe that stuff. There might be, stuff we can't explain, whatever. But we just don't believe in the whole ghosty, spooks in the night kind of thing. Just don't. But that was genuinely terrifying, and I'm going to keep that door. I'm keeping it closed.
Little do they know that things are about to get even weirder.
Well, folks, it's probably about 10 minutes after our ordeal with the spooky door closing over there, and we're trying to rationalise it. I mean, I don't particularly believe in ghosts, and neither does Mark. No, so we're kind of thinking that it might have been just like the backdraft of the wind. I mean, there's a storm going on outside, so
yeah. But I still don't believe it was the wind, but it's the only when the wind's blowing that strong outside, and there's no, it's the only rational explanation, even though I'm not even looking at that. No, I'm not looking at it. It's moving, right? I'm honest, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go.
This can't be right.
I don't.
I'm not.
It's black in here as well. I can't see a thing.
So there's a chair over there, and it just started to move, which is.
No way. I'm not even. No.
This is bonkers.
I'm not having any part of this.
That is moving.
Jesus Christ.
It is moving, that chair is moving.
Just leave it.
Oh, Christ. Oh, well, I'm gonna drink some more wine, I think. Christ.
No, that's poltergeist shit, Paul. That's poltergeist stuff. That's not ghosty. That's like evil spirit stuff.
Chair sitting in the corner of the room inexplicably starts to slide across the floor on its own. And these two diehard skeptics suddenly begin to wonder if they might be dealing with some sort of paranormal entity.
I absolutely love this footage. As I've said before, I always look for context to answer the question of what is my process in determining authenticity. Well, look, most videos that you see, you know, like I said, anything can be faked, right? Anything. Like we're a CGI and effects art today. Like I said, we can make Transformers, right? We can do anything on screen. So it really is just about context and reading people on the authenticity in their reactions. And I love this reaction to this chair moving because, first off, there's no amount of wind displacement that's going to drag a metal chair across a concrete floor. And this is happening, you know, right in front of them. And it also happens right after this guy is talking about the fact that he doesn't believe in ghosts. He doesn't believe in them, that, you know, what he experienced is terrifying, but he doesn't believe in ghosts. Almost as if it's to say, oh, really? You don't believe in ghosts? Okay. But I love the response of his friend who is laughing.
I still don't believe it was the wind, but it's the only, when the wind's blowing that strong outside, and there's no, it's the only rational explanation, even though I'm not even looking at that. No, I'm not looking at it. It's moving, right? I'm honest, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go.
This can't be right. I'm not.
There's a video, or a portion of the video that you see in the House in the Harbinger Kingdom footage of Justin and I down in the basement where all these banging sounds are going off like on command. Absolute intelligent response. That was just uncanny, right? It was crazy. And you could hear me freaking out and being startled, but then laughing, because that's exactly the feeling that you get. There's like such a massive disbelief.
No, I'm not looking at it. It's moving, right? I'm honest, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go.
This can't be right. I'm not.
This footage, I think, is incredible. My gut feeling is that it is authentic, that we are seeing poltergeist activity here. I do believe that this probably, if I'm a betting man, I'm thinking that this is probably real based off their, you know, reactions and the context of it all. Now, whenever I say this, it always cracks me up. In the comments, there's always somebody that goes, that's bullshit, dude, you could totally fake that. It's like, again, I want to stress this. You can fake anything, right? Anything can be faked. So it really becomes about context. It becomes about what can we see outside of, could somebody tie strings in the dark and move stuff around? Like, if these guys are actors, they are incredible. I mean, incredible actors. But the fact that they never do this, they never have paranormal stuff on their pages, they don't seek out the paranormal, and their genuine response to it is just so similar to responses that I've seen, I have a tendency to believe that this is authentic. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know. But yeah, that kind of answers your question too about my process of authenticity. Look, if I was going to really, like, you know, give you this is 100% how I feel, I mean, I'd have to go there, right? I'd have to experience it. I would have to stay there. I'd have to interview those gentlemen. I'd have to look for the ways possible there to pull that off. But again, I'm just watching it and judging from what I see. The same as what you guys would do. Alrighty, Jenny Ferris from Midland, Texas, as in Permian, Friday Night Lights, says, I agree with you. Oh, this is a great question. And by the way, before I read all this, Jenny, you are a detail-oriented woman. This is a great question. The question kind of shocked me of how detailed she was. Here it is. Jenny Ferris from Midland, Texas says, I agree with your thoughts on Lou Elizondo being an agent of misinformation, especially given his past role as a counterintelligence agent. But I have a question for you. You have admittedly worked for the FBI at the age of 15. Your grandfather was a pilot in the Korean War with 2 Purple Hearts, and your father was a high-ranking Air Force engineer who was stationed at your birthplace, Eglin Air Force Base, which is believed by many to be a military base that houses top-secret aircraft, including the TR-3B. Given this information, one could make the argument that you, Chad Calek, are a deep state misinformation agent, or at the very least, deep state legacy. How do we know that you're not a counterintelligence agent? Well, first off, I have spoke about these things, but for you to link them all together like that, that's impressive. Well, the truth is you wouldn't know, right? Could I be? Sure. I can tell you I'm not. You could, and I know the answer would be, well, that's what any counterintelligence agent would say. I think probably my biggest argument against that would be that I'm the first one to openly tell you that I have theories about all this stuff. I don't know for a fact where aliens come from, or if they are for a fact here, or if we have bodies anywhere, or if they come from the ocean. Like anybody else, I do my own research and I give you guys my theories of what I think happened. And I often change my mind too. So if I'm trying to, direct anybody in a direction, someone should tell me what direction I'm trying to send people in. But yeah, look, the good point, or the point here that I think to be made by this question is that you should always do your own research. You know, I just talk all the time at events about ghost hunting and whether or not, you should believe me or anybody else who presents footage of activity that they captured. I think at best, my goal was always to inspire people to go find out for themselves. Like if someone just walked in a room, like if those 2 guys that you just saw at the Bothy, if they came in and said, yeah, this is real, this happened, even though my tendency is to believe them based on the footage. Like I said before, I mean, I can't really know for myself unless I go there. And that's what I've always hoped to do with my work, is to inspire people to go find your own answers. That's really what the paranormal is all about, right? We all have great opinions, and they're fun to go back and forth on and argue about and debate. But at the end of the day, with any of this stuff, you need to go out for yourself. And that's also why we hold events. That's why we're holding the Skywatch event. That's why we do ghost hunting events. Because you just never know what's going to happen until you're there. I remember we did this event at the Thomas house the last time we were there. We had, I think, close to 30 people total. And we went to this haunted, or reportedly, allegedly haunted church across the street from the Thomas house. And damned if the most intense paranormal stuff did not break out in front of everybody. And everybody there had a legit, intense experience in which things were documented. A photo was actually taken by one of our attendees, Justin Ross, of this big black object that was there. The stuff people experienced and witnessed was incredible. And the best thing about that for me is that my past and my work and the things that I had shown people had given them, or contributed to their interest in the paranormal enough where they were willing to join me and say, hey, let's go see what happens here. And that is the only way I think that anybody is going to get to answers. So, whether you believe I'm a disinformation agent or I'm legacy deep state because of my family's service to the country or anything like that, I can tell you the honest answer is no, I'm not. I don't work for any government agency whatsoever. I just have opinions and I form it based on my own research, and I hope you do too. Anything that I say, I would hope that you would take it into consideration as a part of your research. But I don't think anybody should listen to one person and go, I believe this solely because this person said they believe it, or they presented something to me, and that they did it, then I'm a believer, I think you just got to find out for yourself, right? But that is a really great question, and the detail on me that you have there was really cool. That was interesting to read. Here we go. Jeremy Hansen from West Branch, Iowa says, what did you think of the Tyson-Jake Paul fight? I thought it went down like I thought it would go down. We have to kind of step back and get out of your emotions. Like anybody, I grew up at a time where Mike Tyson was just, at the time, literally was the baddest man on the planet. I mean, he would not only beat people, but I mean, he would break grown men in half. I mean, in no time. That's the best way to describe it. He would break men's soul. He would just knock them out. He would destroy them in record time. But you cannot beat Father Time. I mean, but if you step back away even from that, right, and you just say, well, he's too old, right? He's too old to actually win this fight. Look at the business surrounding it. This was Netflix's first live sporting event that they were going to do. This is an event that is in the hundreds of millions of dollars that is being spent on this thing. There is no chance that a company like Netflix is going to risk Mike Tyson being killed in a ring, And there's a legitimate chance that at 58 years old, if you have a 27-year-old just teeing off on him, this man could be badly, badly injured. At the same time, based upon, his value and his drawing power, they're also not going to let Jake Paul get slayed either. So my honest thought going into it was that it was going to be staged, that it was a work, that it was going to be set up. I thought they would have set it up where Mike got off a few good shots that stunned Jake and gave everybody hope, and Jake came back and won by decision. But it was very obvious when you were watching it. Mike wasn't engaging, and really neither was Jake. I mean, it was just, Mike was pulling punches, actually, it seemed like, in the first couple rounds. And then it was the worst boxing match that's ever been televised. I mean, it sucks when business gets in the way of actual competition. But if there was real competition, you wouldn't have a 58-year-old in the ring. I mean, I know it was technically sanctioned, but I guarantee when they sanctioned it, they had a conversation. They were like, hey, listen, we can do this for business, but we can't let this man, become badly injured. I mean, especially when you find out after the fight that Mike lost 25 pounds and had multiple blood transfusions and all that shit like a couple months ago. The guy almost died. And then he comes back, and he looked amazing. He looked in shape. But I think Mike also knew, or I should say this, I believe, I don't know this, but I believe that Mike took the money, and I believe he was uncomfortable with the whole thing being work. Because he barely spoke. He didn't talk any shit leading up. He just seemed uncomfortable to me in all the press conferences, all that stuff. He seemed like he just didn't want to talk too much. And I think it's probably because he was uncomfortable with the fact that it was scripted. That's what I mean by it was a work. It was like, it's a wrestling term for fake. It was a work. And I think now I haven't checked, but I've heard that a script has come out. It's all kind of leaked now, but that's kind of what I thought it would be, and that's what it was. I've heard about people like betting tons of money on that on Mike and losing. And I'm like, man, anybody who put money on a 58-year-old Mike Tyson under those circumstances, yeah, that's not smart. But as far as Jake Paul goes, yeah, I could give two shit. The whole boxing thing of him, I don't care. I don't. He just fights all these like old dudes, and I mean, I don't follow him closely, but I believe he's only fought one actual boxer, which was Tommy Fury, and I believe he lost. So I don't know. Beating up all these overaged MMA guys doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I'm over it. Anyways, moving on. John Tilley from Tempe, Arizona says, Chad, I feel like you need an ayahuasca trip. Have you ever taken a trip before? Love you, bro, but I sense a darkness in you. Ayahuasca can help. You know what's weird? I got an email a couple months ago of somebody kind of saying this, I sense a darkness in you thing. I don't know. Is there a darkness in me? I don't know. I think there's probably a darkness in everybody, right? I have never done ayahuasca. I have never done anything that is a psychedelic. And the reason I haven't is growing up in my family, my Uncle Butch, who's doing a life sentence right now in Fort Madison, Iowa. His legend in my family always loomed large. And it's unclear as to whether or not he believed he was possessed or he believed his mother was possessed. But what is not debated is that when he was 18, he picked up a ceramic lawn ornament, and in broad daylight, he bashed her head in and killed her. And then waited for the police, and just turned himself in. This is all going to be in greater detail in House on the Harbinger Kingdom, but he was a heavy user of LSD, and it was, again, part of the story of the lore in my family that he was tripping out. And hearing this growing up, I was always just terrified of this idea that you could take something that would make you see monsters or demons or devils or something that would make you hallucinate, and you couldn't get out of it. You'd have to just write it out. And then I heard all these crazy stories about people having bad trips and feeling like they died or they were in hell for what seemed like an eternity to them. And just the idea of taking something that would cause me to lose that kind of control has never, ever been appealing to me. But I can tell you this, I do think I've had a DMT trip. And I say that because I still haven't really spoken to you guys about the 14 days that I spent in critical condition about 18 months ago. They say that, when you're near death, that your body secretes DMT. And there's a belief that it helps you in passing to the other side. God, you see, I'm still not ready to talk about there's a lot that I saw during that time. And I've heard people talk about this concept of an ego death. And I don't know that I experienced that in the way that people describe it, but I definitely saw myself like I was separated from myself in a different light. And a portion of that time, it was like I was going backwards in time. And I was reliving things that I had done. And I could see like the truth of those scenarios. And it was painful and emotionally. I mean, not physically, emotionally. And I guess my point, yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm not trying to have all these long pauses. It's just, it's a heavy time for me. And but my point, I think, is that when I hear how these ayahuasca trips affect people, and they cause you to kind of like face your biggest demons and things like that, I think I certainly went through that, or something dreadfully similar. And do I think it was beneficial? Yeah, yes. When I woke up, look, man, there is something about life being reduced to hope and memories that will show you the fucking truth about who you are and your place in this world, and your place to all of those around you, and who you are at your best and what you could provide, and who you are at your fucking worst. And that's beneficial because it makes you want to be the best thing that you can be with the time you have left. Because you just realize, man, this time, this beautiful gift of time that we have, that is the most valuable thing in our lives. Time, it's the thing that we all take for granted. And once it's shoved in your face and you realize that every second you draw a breath is not a breath owed to you, man. I'm sorry, guys. This is probably fucking annoying to listen to right now. I guess to wrap it up, I haven't done ayahuasca, but I do believe I've had an experience similar to DMT, and I think that it was beneficial to me, and for people that have done that, I understand. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'll take a quick break, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, guys. Sorry about that. It just got heavy for a second. I'm good. Everything's good. Again, apologize. Okay. Betsy Lancaster from Toronto says, I recently found new music and can't stop listening to it, especially the song Forever Fire. I have two questions. The first is, who is Forever Fire about? I have to know, as I love the lyrics. And the second question I have is, what singers inspired you to start singing? First off, thank you, Betsy. I don't want to tell you who Forever Fire is about. Just because, look, when you make songs, at least the way I view it, they're yours until you kind of give them away, right? Like, it's different with some songs. Like, for example, Injustice is about my father. And when you listen to that, there's no mistaking that I'm singing about a very important relationship with, my father. But I think the lyrics in Forever Fire, although they're very specific about a woman, I think they're about topics that a lot of people have probably experienced in their life. And I would rather it just kind of be about who you want it to be about, I hope that makes sense, Betsy. Like, because you just kind of give them away, right? Like, when you make songs, they're yours until they're not, I could go on forever about the paranormal aspect of songwriting and how, to me, man, you want to talk about proof that there's a God. The songwriting is that proof, because I swear every song that I've ever written, it's almost like they were written in the ethos, and I somehow got in the way of it, and it landed in my lap, and I was supposed to present that. But then you give it away, you know. Thomas, again, my wonderful friend and partner, I kind of look at songwriting how he looks at, he's a collector, and he said something to me really, really cool one day. I think he was talking about a guitar he had, and he was talking about how he didn't view these items that he had, and he has an incredible art collection. He didn't view them as his, that he viewed them as, he was kind of like the proprietor and part of the story of their journey. And they were his today, but they would be passed on to somebody else at some other point. And then it becomes theirs, meaning kind of like everybody that touched it, they were part of the story. Not the item was part of his story. You know what I mean? I thought, God, that's such a cool way of looking at collectibles, as I'm just, you know, kind of the proprietor of this story, of this wonderful journey of this item. I kind of look at songs the same way, like through the ethos of music and emotion, these words and melodies came to me for whatever reason. And now that I've kind of polished them and made sense of them, I give them to you. And then they become what they are to you. And, you know, hopefully those songs will inspire somebody else to become a musician or write or sing or whatever, until they get in the way of a song. You know what I mean? So I thought it's a beautiful way to look at it. So I don't want to, like, you know, bum you out by not answering your question. It could probably even be figured out if you know my past really well. But yeah, it's about whoever you want it to be about. As far as what singers inspired me to sing, the first singer I ever heard that made me like want to sing, like I want to go sing and become a singer, was Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. Just because, man, that dude I connected, man. I connected with his lyrics and just so many things. And not only in Alice in Chains, but especially in the Mad Season album. Oh man, yeah, there's just so many good lines he had at the beginning of River to Sea, you know, my pain is self-chosen. And just, yeah, there's so much stuff. God, I could go on and on and on. The song Rooster, you know, that's a Cantrell lyric, but, you know, being about his father in the military. And, you know, I connected with that, you know, and just his songs about addiction, you know, the song Junkhead, the What's My Drug of Choice? Well, what do you got? You know, like all those incredible, yeah, just stories that he told about his life and the struggles that I went through at different times in my life. That made me want to be like, wow, he's telling his stories and they affected me this way. Well, I have stories and I'm a storyteller and I want to be able to present my stories in a musical way because I really think that stories is the best way, at least for me, and whatever gifts God gave me, right? Whatever those are, the best way I've identified to turn my negatives into a positive is to just share the truth about who I am and my experiences, as to either let someone else know they're not alone or to let someone know that there's more to this. Like whatever position you're in, whatever that pain is, whatever you're grappling with, like there's a tomorrow. There's another place this goes. You're not trapped, you know? And Lane made me want to do that. He made me want to share my stories of love and love and lust and thunder and pain and you know, second chances and dreaming and hopes and all of those things that matter, especially so much to a young woman or man that is really getting ready to tackle the world, to try to make it something, you know, make a run of it, right? And that's what we all want to do in life, right? We want to say whatever we were given, we want to make it run at making it the best it can be, you know? So Lane Staley did that for me. The other singer that made me really believe that I could do it on some level Because singing's hard, right? I mean, fuck, man, when I first started singing, I was like, I am fucking terrible. Like, this is never going to work, man. It's just like, why do I sound so good in my car? But when I'm recorded, I sound horrible. And you start realizing you don't sound good in your car. You're just hearing yourself. And you know, when you first start singing, it's like you don't understand key and flat and sharp and all this shit. But the first guy that I ever heard, and to this day, he's my favorite vocalist. That's different than a singer, I should say. I mean, like vocal style is Roger Waters. Roger Waters and The Wall made me believe that you don't have to be Pavarotti, you know what I mean? You don't have to be like the world's greatest, you know, you're not going to be Celine Dion or like, you know, these, singers that can sing the phone book and make it sound good. You can be a stylist, that you can just, you know, be you. You know, Jim Morrison was kind of like that too, where technically speaking, Jim Morrison wasn't a great vocalist, great singer, you know what I mean? But he was such a stylist and he was so unique. And Roger Waters made me kind of feel like, well, you know, I don't got to be a world-class, you know, vocalist to sing songs, you know? And those two together really did it for me. Yeah, definitely. Okay, a couple more here. Crystal from Eugene, Oregon says, blown away by the new In a Crowded Room music. Any more releases coming soon? Yes, there are. So a whole album's worth of material that I've written for A House in the Harbinger Kingdom. There's a song coming up called Alone, a song called My Enemy. I'm going to release both of those first on Patreon. And then after that, because they lived there for a while, then I'll release them just on this channel. I'll give you just a quick little snippet of those songs. This here is Alone first, and then My Enemy. Check it out.
What if I said I'm sorry? Between love and lies and memories of everything that we knew. What if I said that every time I ever lied, something deep inside me died? Would it really matter to you? I've never felt more alone than I do right now in this crowded room. So can you walk away from the thought that the one you love the most is gone? It hurts so long. It hurts so goddamn long. And please don't let those memories we never shared replace all of the love we made when we were there. With light in our eyes and pain in our hearts, we set fire to a destiny that some way, somehow, was never meant to be.
There you go, just a taste of those two tracks, and there's a lot more coming out. There's a bunch of covers that I've been doing for fun too over the years that I've never released. In the film, there are a couple covers. There's a song called Better by my friend Michael Pearsall, but I also do a Sleep Token cover, a very unique version of the song Chokehold.
I come as a blade, a sacred guardian, so you keep me sharp and test my worth in blood.
And just for fun, believe it or not, I have a couple of NXS covers. And last but not least, guys, I am working on my first actual straight up country song. And I don't know if I'm actually going to release it or not. Not because I think it's bad, but it's because I don't know if it's good. I don't listen to country. Laura does. I've obviously heard country music, but I don't listen to it a lot. And So I kind of like the song that I'm working on. It's totally original, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yes, thank you for asking. Thank you for taking the time to send these questions in. Thank you for caring. Thank you for your support, for your interest in everything that you guys provide me. That also motivates me on a daily basis to share with you. So much love, my friends, and I will be back tomorrow with more. All the best.